channel. On today's issue, I will be discussing some of the reasons why political change is really a problem in some countries in Africa. By this, I am not saying that African governments don't want to accept change, but yet the issue of change from one leader to another is still really a serious problem in Africa until the continent is already having dictators who are really finding it very, very difficult. I want to discuss some various issues which are really the cause of these problems. One, there still exists a spirit of disunity amongst the population or the people in this country. The people can never still understand how to come as a united front to stand or challenge such a leader. If some few people decide to challenge such a leader, others still have the spirit to go against one another. So that spirit of disunity will give a room for this leader to manipulate and keep the people under his control. Secondly, the political systems in Africa are still a problem. Can you imagine that in Africa, most of the countries prefer to practice multipartyism? Multipartyism is a weak political system in the sense that it influences a ruling party to manipulate and rule the other parties of the country. Since political parties have not accepted the fact that they can coalesce and stand against a ruling party, it will still be very difficult for a ruling party to be removed from power, because political parties are so divided. So this is a principle of divide and rule. The ruling party divides the political parties so that they will remain as majority, as oppositions can never stand and have a majority vote against the ruling party. 3. Majority of the population or the people in such countries really have a severe hatred for their government and their politicians. Go amongst them, find out what actually happens. They will never express any reason why they can love such a people. What they have forgotten to know is that their hatred for these people will not stop them from ruling. Because they hate them, they will prefer not to participate in political activities of the country and they stay a part of it, then giving opportunity to these people to continuously manipulate and control the system. 4. Most people in some of these countries don't know that the government comprises of everybody. They still look at the government to be some people, while some people who don't participate in the political activities, they are not part of the government. But they forget to know that government is made up of everybody. We call it government for the people. Most system in Africa claim to be political, a democratic system, which they call it is a government for the people. But yet, most of the people don't really participate in the government. One, when it comes to political election, most of the people shy away from political election. Then now they complain and they hate politicians that they are the ones controlling everything in the country. Then are refusing or denying their rights to their votes, which gives power to these people. Then give room for a few majority who can take control and do whatsoever they like. So their hatred for the government, which they feel is not part of them, will still cause these people to stay in power because they cannot come as a united front and put their ballots where necessary, where they expected change to take. 5. Most politicians of these countries, they strongly still rely on their corrupt military officials. These corrupt military officials are so corrupt that they don't even know what is good or wrong. They prefer to give support to this system because the system already gives them the advantage of place. They can demand anything they want, this system gives them. They live in the best of luxury, they enjoy everything, they can go about killing the people and nobody can ask them. So they prefer to support a regime which will give them power, where the regime will not criticize them. They prefer doing everything they want to do with such a regime. So such a system has corrupt military system which cannot even identify wrong from right. This corrupt military system have no interest in issues of the masses. They are more interested in feeling themselves and hold all the power. I think the sixth issue is all about the people participating in the arms of government doesn't really know how the arms of the government really work. In most of these kind of systems, you will discover that the administrative arm of the government is stronger than the other arms of the government. What am I saying? I'm saying that the administrative arm of the government controls the legislature, it also controls the judiciary, which means that in this kind of government, you will realize that there's no constitutional law governing the coherence there is no coherence in the arms of government. The other arms of government are so weak that they are being controlled by the administrative system, by the administrative arm of the government. Not like a country whereby there is a constitutional law, all the arms of the government are so powerful when none can dictate on the other. This keeps a smooth functioning of the government where all the arms are put in control and each respect one another. But you can go back to some of these countries, you will discover that the arms of this government are so weak. Some countries have a very weak judiciary such that the administrative arm of the government can send its military to go around and beat its legislative. Another important issue is our religious leaders. Our religious leaders tend to teach their people to the government in the pretense that they are the ones to be loved. Now these people become hateful to their governments and they abandon their political duties, then tend to give more concentration to the church. Now as if the church now becomes a solution why the government is no longer important. But on the other hand, these systems which are being put by our religious leaders doesn't help the system at all, because they go about manifesting and amassing all the wealth, but yet they don't pay any income to the government. The government loves this system until it gives them free activity, free movement. They don't pay anything to the government, but they go about confusing and redirecting the people's thought out of supporting and giving the rightful adjustment which the government needs, but it's turning over to the religious bodies. Now the religious bodies are pretending as if they have come with vital solutions to this problem. Meanwhile, they are manipulating and using these people against the authorities in place. Number 8. I want to say the supreme council of every military in the country, in some of these countries, enjoy a lot of wealth and power. So they really find it difficult to experience change which can be gotten by a new leader in power or any change that can. So this supreme military council in most of these countries are very powerful. They will give every possible assistance to their politician whereby no other leader can easily take control or take power, even in a form of political elections. 9. Most of the people elected in government offices, like the senators, the parliamentarians, the mayors, or even the people appointed by governments, like governors and whatsoever. These people, when they take power, they normally don't serve their purposes. They will do what? They will favor the person who have given them power against any other force. They will believe that if this regime in place, if this leader goes down from power, they may not be able to have the power because the next leadership may not give them an advantage and the pride of place. So they will do everything to keep what they have supported to last for them to enjoy their lofty and their selfish gains. Of the people fear the change that will actually come in when a new leader is appointed into power. So they would rather prefer to stay with what they are used to than accepting change to take place. Most Africans are really greedy and cunning in nature. In the 21st century, we have found the most cunning and greedy people to come from Africa. Especially when they are serving government, whether they are presidents or they are ministers or they are mayors or they are which sort of people in the government, they have expressed the highest greed. Statistics shows that they will be the ones who will steal all the monies. They will steal all the things. They will steal all the money that you can imagine. They can steal the money, hide it. By the time they are coming out from power, there is no reliable auditing system to audit their activities. And by the end of the day, you find these systems still living in such a way that nobody can actually make change. So they prefer the regime to remain where it is so that nobody can actually have power to investigate their crimes.